Could Disney be about to introduce one of their best villains in Moana 2? Yippee-ki-yay, movie lovers! In this video, I'll be revealing why Moana's new antagonist Matangi could be the Disney baddie everyone's been waiting for, plus some big villain surprises to look forward to. The new trailer for Moana 2 finally revealed the face of demigod Matangi, and let's just say right now that she exudes classic Disney villain vibes. With her cape that can turn into a living cloak made of bats, she joins a pantheon of iconic caped Disney villains, from the Evil Queen to Maleficent, Jafar and more. Plus, the actress playing her is also a singer, so is sure to get a villain song, which hopefully will be as shiny as Tamatoa's glam little number from the first film. Matangi has some fantastic superpowers, such as her command over a colony of bats, which she can send into battle on her behalf. And this shot of her completely covered in bats, forming a giant cape, in front of what looks like a moon, has some awesome Batman vibes. I also love the way she's hanging upside down like a bat, just before she confronts Moana in this clip. By the way, that's not actually a moon, but an enormous pearl inside the monstrous giant clam we've seen emerging from the ocean to attack Moana and the Kakamoras. So, for some revelations about the new villain's origins and motivations, let's take a closer look at Maui's confrontation with Matangi. Early footage shown at the Annecy Film Festival reveals that at the beginning of the movie, Maui is alone in a cave with a giant pearl, perhaps trapped there by Matangi. A voice then taunts him, saying that his making Moana a wayfinder during the first film has proved a larger threat to Matangi and the God of Storms.
You will be destroyed, and your wayfinder too.
Apparently, during the scene, Maui claims that he only used Moana to get his magic hook back, but it seems like he's pretending not to care about her, perhaps to protect her from the villainous Matangi. Now, when we see this full scene in the movie, I think we may well discover there's a connection between Maui and Matangi that's been kept a secret until now. Perhaps Maui and Matangi are related in some way, maybe siblings or cousins. We know that after Maui's human parents threw him into the sea, the gods rescued him and gave him superhuman abilities and immortality. Matangi herself is a demigod too, so what if it turns out that she's a relative of Maui's and has some beef with him from some event when they were both younger? This idea of sibling or familial rivalry is very much in the Disney villain tradition, with examples like Scar and Mufasa, Ursula, who was revealed to be Triton's sister in the Little Mermaid live-action remake, as well as the evil stepmothers in Snow White and Cinderella. And it seems less likely that Disney would do this, but alternatively, could Matangi be an ex-love interest of Maui's? Or another alternative, perhaps Maui the trickster enraged her at some point in the past, similar to how Te Fiti turned into a lava demon after Maui stole her heart. Now, I'm also going to explain how Matangi has a very close alliance with the other villain of Moana 2, the God of Storms. His name is Nalo, and he's been described by the movie's star as the storm of all storms, and he's meant to be the most dangerous villain Moana's ever encountered. He currently guards the island of Motu Fetu, a place which had previously connected all the ocean peoples together.
It's an ancient island, cursed by a power-hungry god.
Nalo hates the idea of humans banding together because, according to Jennifer Lee, he thinks that when humans are together, they can do anything. The world becomes theirs.
A human could never break my curse.
As for Matangi, her name means wind or breeze in many Polynesian languages, so we can be sure that she'll have a very strong connection to the God of Storms, perhaps working with or for him in some way. In fact, given their weather-related names and powers, their relationship could go even deeper than that, and they could actually be father and daughter, somewhat similar perhaps to how it turned out that Hela was the daughter of Odin in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But what if Matangi turns out to be a shapeshifter like Maui? Perhaps she can even transform into a storm cloud, and we discover that she is actually Nalo. In other words, he's not a completely separate character. I mean, look at the way the bats she commands almost seem to blend into her body, as if she completely becomes them. Her ability to transform like this reminds me of Maleficent's metamorphosis into a fearsome dragon, Jafar turning into a giant snake, or Ursula's ability to take on a human form or assume gigantic proportions. We saw something like this too in the first movie with the goddess Te Fiti transforming into a lava monster and then back again, so a twist like this wouldn't wouldn't be completely out of the ordinary in the world of Moana. On top of that, Disney do seem to be holding back a surprise of some sort when it comes to Matangi, as the official description of her is simply a mysterious new character. So hopefully I've got you excited at the prospect of a strong, powerful Disney villain in Moana 2, one we've not seen for a good while in Disney animation. The studio did seem to want to bring back the idea of an unrepentant villain with Magnifico in their 100th anniversary film Wish, though many fans were still disappointed. So perhaps they can make it work in Moana 2 and create a villain everyone loves to hate. But, and I say this hesitantly, there's always a chance that Matangi ends up with a redemption arc where it turns out she's simply misunderstood, similar to what happened when Moana restored the heart of Te Fiti to Te Kā in the first movie. If Matangi and Nalo really are separate entities but working together initially, it might be that Matangi decides she doesn't agree with Nalo's ambitions and ends up trying to help Moana. For example, there's something about the tone of Matangi's threat in the trailer that sounds a bit off to me.
If you try to reconnect the people, you will be destroyed.
It doesn't feel as menacing as I think the trailer wants us to believe it sounds, so I wonder whether this is a little trailer editing trick to keep things exciting and secret, but in the film itself, she's simply advising or warning Moana of the danger she's up against, rather than actually threatening her. Remember that trailers are heavily edited and words are sometimes cut together from different scenes in the movie, and the words here don't quite match up with Matangi's mouth movements either, so we can't be 100% sure what's going on. Also, in this scene where Moana is sliding down a tunnel of sorts, you can spot Matangi just behind her, but it's not clear if she's really chasing her or just following behind, perhaps to help her. On top of that, thematically, if Matangi's name means wind or breeze, then in a seafaring culture the wind could be a positive force, something which can carry a boat across the ocean and bring people together. Whereas Nalo, who represents storms, is a destructive force, something that can destroy ships and tear people apart. Perhaps then if Matangi turns out to be Nalo's daughter, her action of rebelling against her father by helping Moana would have a parallel with Moana's arc in the first movie, when our young heroine forged her own path against her father's wishes by going beyond the reef. So, what do you think of Disney's new villain Matangi? And are you looking forward to a real baddie in Moana 2? Yippee-ki-yay movie lovers, I'm Jan, and if you enjoyed this video, do leave a thumbs up, I really appreciate it. Tap here for my other Moana 2 video about why everyone's favourite villainous crab Tamatoa could well be back in the sequel. Thanks for enjoying this theory with me and hope you have a marvellous movie loving week. See you next time!